How to choose your position on the pitch? Let's go. When you meet other football players, one of the first questions that will come up is, what club do you play for and which position do you play? And a lot of you will already know, midfielder, winger, fullback, whatever. But what if you don't know which position you are just yet? Well, today I'll try and help you and guide you into figuring out which position is the right one for you. Now, when it comes to actually deciding which position you should play, there are a couple of different approaches, but one of them could be looking at what you like to do when you play football, or simply just which position you think sounds cool. Now, it might be that you love having the ball and being involved in everything that goes on in the match. Okay, maybe you should be a central midfielder. Maybe you really love the fact that football is a physical game and you love flying into tackles and physical duels everywhere, in which case you should probably be playing a defensive position. Or maybe you just love having the ball at your feet all the time. You love dribbling and taking players on, in which case it sounds like you'll have a lot of fun playing out on the wing. Do you get where I'm going here? Figure out what you like to do and then kind of find out what position matches those things. Now, it could also be that you love, let's say, Mohamed Salah.
Yeah, what can I say about that?
And you really want to play his position. Now, that's also a legit reason in itself. But whatever you decide to do, it's always good to back it up with... It's always good to back it up with what you're good at, as the title says. Look, you might love playing as a striker, but if you're not very good at finishing but really great at tackling, being, or at least trying to be a goal scorer, might not be the ideal solution. And I know, in football, there are no such things as defined or set skill sets for certain positions, and just because you're really good at a few certain things that you would normally associate with a given position, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to play that position and not other positions. Just keep that in mind. However, with that said, as a rule of thumb, I'd say this. If you are a great passer and very calm on the ball, if you have a good engine on you maybe, and also understand how to make your teammates better by guiding them vocally, maybe you have a good overview of the pitch and also understand how to create space for yourself. If you possess all of those things, or just a couple of those things, it sounds like you'll make a pretty decent central midfielder. However, if you're really good at dribbling and beating the defender one-on-one, you're reasonably fast, at least over the first 5 to 10 meters, you have a good cross on you, and you can also finish to a certain extent, then you sound, my friend, like an ideal winger type. But if one-on-ones and goal scoring isn't exactly your strong points, but you're still really good at using your speed to get forward, be involved in play, and maybe get in some crosses to get some assists, but that you're also really good at tracking back and helping the team out and have in general pretty good stamina, it sounds like you wouldn't look too much out of position playing fullback or wingback. But if you're a big, strong player who's great at timing your tackles to win the ball back from the opponent, if you have a calm head, off and especially on the ball, but also if you understand how to position yourself to break up the opposition play, then I'd probably play you as a center back. However, if you're agile and have a great precise passing range, if you can dribble a bit in tight spaces, but especially if you have that vision so you can spot openings where you can pass the ball into your teammates and make them dangerous, sounds like you could consider being an attacking midfielder. But if you feel like you possess the abilities of a great central midfielder with the passing range and the good understanding of the game, but you're still also a bit stronger, you're bigger, and you're great at tackling and winning the ball back, then maybe your call is to be a central defensive midfielder instead. And finally, there are the guys or girls who are just eyes cold in front of goal. No questions asked, you just score. Now, you don't have to be built like a tank, but if you have a little bit of speed, and especially if you can lose defenders and create that space for yourself where you can get the ball, and then of course use your great finishing ability with power and precision, then it sounds like you should be played as a striker. Get those goals. Just get it.
Inspired by Brooklyn and brewed for all.
And finally, we have the position that might be the most important, at least to some teams, the goalkeeper. What should you be good at if you are to play as a keeper? Well, it doesn't hurt if you're a big player, and it also doesn't hurt if you're not afraid of the ball, because they're gonna come flying at you. But also, if you for some reason have great handling of the ball, you're good at catching it, or at least just blocking the ball because of your great reflexes, you should probably consider, if you have all of those things, to at least give it a try, to go in goal and see if you can keep the ball out. Maybe you're great at it. Now, that might be one, admittedly very generalized way of looking at things, but who knows, it might just help you. However, the most important thing I can share with you when it comes to choosing your position is that you have to be able to adapt. You have to be adaptive. Because let's say that you think of yourself as a striker. You are the goal scorer, the savior of the team. What if your coach thinks that you're better suited at helping the team out in central midfield or even as a fullback? What do? You just insist on, no, I'm a striker. I only play as a striker. Well, I'm not here to tell you to abandon your dreams. I mean, if you want to become the next Karim Benzema, by all means, go for it. But maybe, just maybe, if your coach says that he or she thinks you're better at central midfield, consider thinking about it. Consider giving it a try to see if you can actually develop as a player and help the team out. And maybe you're actually really good at it and it's a lot of fun. So be adaptive, because they've most likely seen you play for a good while. And maybe, just maybe, they know what they're talking about. So be adaptive. And if all of this is the case, maybe you should do what I did, because I adapted. See, at my old club, I used to play as a winger for a long time. But one season, we got a new player in who was, I think it's fair to say, a lot better at dribbling one-on-one, creating chances than I was. So he ended up taking my spot on the wing, which was really annoying because I was a winger. I'm fast, I do all that jazz, right? But thankfully my coach had seen that my defensive game was actually pretty solid. So he decided to change the formation for a lot of reasons, but then played me as a wingback. Now that meant that I could still use my speed and my stamina to go forward and be dangerous, like I really enjoy, but I could also use my experience to help the team a little bit more. And the best thing was that now I was playing, I was starting, instead of sitting on the bench. So maybe someone is better than you, even though you think you're a striker. If you can get to play and help the team in midfield, give it a go. Maybe you rule. Of course you will. Then watch some tutorials at Unisport. We're gonna make you a better player. Just do it, man. So, should you play as a goalkeeper, a center back, a full back, wing back, defensive midfielder, center midfielder, attacking midfielder, winger, striker, first substitute? The choice is yours. But now at least you have a guide on how you choose the perfect position for you. Now, of course, don't let me take away your dreams. If you want to be a striker, but your coach says you should be a midfielder, but you insist, go and be a striker. It's all about making your football dreams come true at the end of the day. But guys, of course, if you already have a position, tell me where you play in the comment section right down below. You can also add if you want us to look into more things that can improve you as a football player in the future. Of course, also finally, remember that you've subscribed to the channel with the notifications on. If you need new football gear, click the link to Unisport right over there. And speaking of improving as a footballer, there's a wicked playlist right down there that you should definitely check out. And with those words, I'll be signing off. A cheerio.